Hello and welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with friends to get your gaming goodness each and every Monday. My name's Dylan Blight. Join me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here on day 2 of the FTC trial going off in America. Let's go in depth.
Sure. Sure. I'll say here, Karen Martin.
Now I fully understand the great poet that I listened to while growing up that said, "The FTC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see." And they try to shut me down on MTV, but it'd be so empty without me. And you know what? I understand that, Eminem. I get you.
For a second there, you nearly fucked that up.
I nearly fucked it up. There was a stumble there because I didn't know where I was going to finish the lyric, and I was like, you know what? I can hit this. I can fucking crush the rest of this. That's fine.
I mean, the FTC should have come down on him because he had a monopoly as the only white person doing Kip-Top music.
No, to be fair, there's been others, but
Vanilla Ice does count.
Vanilla Ice, yeah. Today on the show, Final Fantasy XVI, the video game that everyone in the world is playing. Well, anyone with a PlayStation is playing. I'm going to talk about a nearly excellent Alien game, and we'll be going over the massive Nintendo Direct that happened early in the week. But let's dive straight into it. Let's talk about Final Fantasy XVI. Ash, hit us with the quality critic score.
The quality critic score is a 9 out of 10. A lot of our critics enjoyed it. The Australian critics. You can go to explosion.com, check out the quality critics article, check out all the articles from all the different Australian reviewing outlets, gaming outlets. They're really good. All very much enjoyed the narrative, like the cast of characters. The active time lore feature was one that was shouted out multiple times. And interestingly, everybody mentions very few bugs in this game. So, that's something that needs to be mentioned in 2023 about AAA games. So, yes. Very good.
Kieran, kick off with you. How many hours do you reckon you've put into this game so far, and what are your thoughts thus far?
I have not. I should have looked at my save. I stopped like halfway through a boss fight earlier. I would say I'm like 15 hours in. Like I could have put more time in than I actually have. This game's really interesting, and I've been interested by the fact of watching the social discourse around this one of like starting off super positive, and then I feel like I saw one person online giving the first kind of bit of negative feedback about the game, and then everybody else has kind of seemed to pile on about it. In my opinion, this is extremely a Final Fantasy game. Like I don't know why I get very much the same vibes of Final Fantasy X while I'm playing this game, and I'm in love with it. Like I think throughout this as well, you can feel this is definitely Yoshida-san's work. Like I can feel Final Fantasy XIV coming through into this. Like I feel the same kind of writing style, the music production around it, and everything in this I feel is very much like it. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I still think it's amazing. I didn't gel very much with the combat at the start, and I don't think I am permanently gelling with the combat, which is the funny thing because I think so many people are using the combat as like their like very much their shining light. I very much feel like the difference so far in combat styles has either been like a lot of monsters or something with a big health pool bar that's just hacking away on it and you're staggering it. Like it almost feels very simplified version of like your Soulsborne games. Like it feels very simplified. I think the game mechanics around that are very easy. Like I think I get dodges very easy, and the fact you even like precision dodge like AoE effects and stuff, I think is very it's a get out of jail free card throughout it. I think where this game shies is just the overall story. I'm so far in love with the story. I love Clyde. I think Clive might be one of the best Final Fantasy protagonists because I really enjoy the layered perspective of him and like the depth to his character and what he is going through. I think is super fucking interesting. I think there's some interesting choice where this game does get caught up in the fact that it's a Final Fantasy game in terms of it almost does feel like they felt the need that certain systems and certain RPG elements need to be a part of this game, which they really didn't, and they don't. They could just have stripped them back and made this a bit more of a simplified action game, but still be a Final Fantasy at heart. I actually think the demo kind of fucked me up a little bit, because I wish I'd restarted this game when I got it, just because I think I was very much out of the groove of both combat and what the hell is going on in the game, and a lot of the people that were involved. I feel like it took me a couple hours to really get back into everything and understand what was going on again, and who the people were. And I found myself, especially in those early hours, using the codex, the index features quite a bit during cutscenes, which I think is very staggered doing it, because it just meant I was pausing all the cutscenes and reading a whole bunch. I think there's a lot of quality of life improvements that could be made to this game. I don't need a enemy slaying screen to fucking everything. You could just let the gameplay flow and don't feel the need to chuck that in my face every time. I think this game would be amazing if they just added it would even be more amazing just for me. Just add a mini map. Just chuck a mini map on the game. I think the game shines where it has these fucking nuggets of story goodness, right? You get, and especially hits with any of the icon fights. The last icon fight did was fucking insane. I remember just the overall direction of the fight, the direction of the characters, the music playing at the same time. Fuck, it hit so good, and I was so happy. This game falls down a little tiny bit on getting you to that next nugget. Because I think sometimes it feels, and we've talked about this before, and I think this is my pet peeve in games, where sometimes games feel the need to be too gamified or too fucking, too gamified. There needs to be some kind of gameplay in there to make it worth it, where it's like, okay, you watch a cutscene, you get out of the cutscene, it's like, then run over here, and it's, okay, run from point A to point B, there's probably like a fight or two in between, and then there's another cutscene. But the space between the two is so fucking short that I'm like, just change me to the next cutscene. Just put me onto the next cutscene, or give me a better landscape. I think, at least in where I am, sometimes the game feels big, but it doesn't seem to have a point to feel big. Like some of the areas that I'm running through at the moment, I'm just getting from point A to B. I don't feel the need to explore. The only other time I'll explore really is if I run off to a side quest, or I see something shining to go pick up in slightly out of the way. I'm excited for the game to open up more. I love the characters. I think Sid is Sid is my guy crush in this. I think he is like that plunging neckline. I'm like, fuck, you've really done everybody a service here. But I love it still.
Sidolphus.
I love it. Sidolphus. I love it overall. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I still think it's one of my favorite games so far of the year.
Ash, how are we going?
Cool. I'm only about 6 hours in, so haven't played as much as I'd like.
Is that 6 hours on top of the demo? So it'd be like 8 hours.
No, I'd say it's probably about the same. No, 6 hours in total, I'd say. Okay. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Really digging the story. Still early days, so yeah, it's a lot, I feel like, to start off with. So maybe while I think I did appreciate playing the demo and having a lot of like being totally zoned in, trying to take it as much as humanly possible in that first time, and then like talking about it obviously in Platinum Explosion, and then like seeing people talking about the demo afterwards and like kind of explain some early plot points. So then some of that kind of sunk in. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I feel like the combat is a little bit simple. It's either, especially with the parry, especially with the rings that they have at the start, which I know are completely optional and are there for accessibility options. But, if something's going to give you the ability to parry, you're super easy. You're going to take it.
Oh, I haven't done those. Because with the pre-order, I got the bonus XP and bonus gold. So I was like, I'll just fucking check those on.
But, yeah, I'm having a good time. Like, it is beautiful. It's like really visually very impressive. And like I said, there's very few bugs any issues I've encountered so far. Yeah, I I think it's an interesting world. I'm excited to get more into it. I've really left on a really interesting point. So, yeah, I'm digging it so far.
So yeah, we talked about it on Platinum Explosion with the 2 hours of the demo, and I came off that really, really high. And I feel like I've been nothing but downhill ever since the demo. I don't know if I'm going to pick back up, and hopefully I will. But my thoughts at the moment for the game are it's an interesting world. I really actually dig Clive as a character, and I think the performance is fantastic as far as voice acting. I think when the story moments are hitting their epic moments, like icon battles and stuff like that, it is like this insane, like beautiful, stunning, epic experience. And everything else in between has just been, I'm fucking getting so bored, to be completely honest. Like, I'm gonna keep playing it because
how far through are you? Sorry, don't just
I don't know how to say about spoilers. I don't know. I'm when I left it off this. I'd say somewhere around 12, 13 probably.
Okay.
I think I just got up to a moment where I left it off this morning where it's like, click on this next location, and it pops up with a message and it gives one of those warnings of like a big epic thing is about to happen and you'll have no opportunity to go back and do side quests for ages. So if you click OK, you got to go further. Have you had that happen yet, Kieran? Or
not that I can think of. Maybe there's definitely no. So have you got the second lot of icon powers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am. How do I put this? Because I think I fucked around.
I'm about to.
That's almost where I am. Yeah, I'm just past that.
Okay,
yeah.
I am like,
me, Sid, and the other character, who's a female, we all split up, and we've just got to a location where we like went on our own separate journeys to get here, and now we're about to do something.
Oh, okay, you're way ahead of me then. Yeah. No, you're
so I'm ahead of me.
I am. I'm on Clive's inner quest of innerness.
Yeah, okay. So that's I'm a couple hours ahead of you then.
Yeah, okay.
Because I've done that. I know where you're at then.
I've just been chained up in a cell by Sid, half naked.
Okay, yeah,
you know,
I know where you are then.
Chained to the wall.
Yeah. No, you're not half naked. You're all naked.
You're fully naked.
Completely naked.
You're butt naked in that cell.
You know.
Yeah.
Sid is tied me up completely naked.
About that.
You know what the worst part is? So I'm ahead of you. And I've done every single side quest so far. And by doing every side quest, I mean I am spamming X to get through all the text, going and doing it, spamming X. I have no idea what's going on.
I feel like
I do not give a fuck.
Like the side quests, I think I've only found one side quest at the moment that I really loved, where I was like, well, this actually has depth to it, and I'm interested. Other than everything else so far has been fetch quests of some kind, or just run here and talk to this person.
And the game's first semi-open area, there's absolutely no reason to explore. There's nothing to do. It's fucking bland and boring. You actually you can't even go into the water that looks shallow. You can't jump over the water. It's just like all this like weird invisible wall shit I'm hitting that's pissing me off. The game's RPG elements are non-existent. I don't know why I'm upgrading anything to the point that I had like 2,500 ability points saved up before I even remembered to use them. I'm like,
you should upgrade stuff. I think the game gets so much cooler once everything's up.
Yeah, I upgrade some shit. Then I'm like, I don't know if this made any different. I don't know why I'm bothering to upgrade weapons or care about them other than it's just like, well, this one like has more strength. Cool. Like there's no. This one gives you like firepower and stuff I'm used to in Final Fantasy games and RPG games in general. Of like, well, this one has less damage, but it applies a bleed, so that might be the trade-off, or stuff like that. There's no elemental weaknesses in this game, which is really fucking weird for a Final Fantasy game. I came across my first, up to where you are, Kieran, actually, it's the first time you come across fireballs in this game. And I was like, oh shit, like fire bombs.
Yes.
Yeah, like bombs, like in typical Final Fantasy fashion. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Like, oh fuck, I better not use my fire attack. Nah, made no difference. Just does the same amount of damage. Doesn't make any fucking difference at all. I'm like, this is so weird. And actually, so people are clamoring all over this combat system. I think the combat's fine. It's average, but like it's not touching Devil May Cry or Bayonetta or any of these like big franchises.
The combat feels good when there's lots of enemies and you're bouncing between stuff and comboing stuff and
it looks cool.
It feels like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like during boss fights, it definitely comes down to it. And even in the icon fights, the cool moments of icon fights are generally quick time events or cinematic moments in it. Like it's
I feel the thing is though, right? So I love Final Fantasy as an IP. So even if I walk away at the end of this game, at the end of the day, if I walk away thinking this is a bad or an average game, and I'm going to save my thoughts until I finish it, because Final Fantasy games are so story driven that seeing that story through is very, very important to like how the overall thoughts on the game are going to be. But ultimately, even if I walk away thinking this was like an average Final Fantasy game, there's still all these elements that I know deep down are just pulling at me anyway. Like I come across a Chocobo and that's going to excite me. The first time I spoke to the Moogle properly inside the base, I was like, oh, the fur effect on this is so cool. And just like the fact that it was like speaking in Moogle terms and like just like all those noises. And then for some reason, Clive he's like talking back and the Moogle's like, you can understand me. That's wild. And I was like there's all these like sort of like just Final Fantasy things that are going to sucker me in no matter what. The fact there's a character called Sid that's such a big star in the game is
sorry,
really
I just had deja vu. I feel like you said that exact same thing when we were doing Final Fantasy VII.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Final 7 remake.
But like, yeah, and like I got the collector's edition, for example, and it's got this fucking kick-ass statue, which is the main reason I got it, of Ifrit fighting Phoenix. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm like, that could be any fucking Final Fantasy game for all like that.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's just it's just two cool characters from Final Fantasy. And it doesn't like I'm like, there's part of me that's like, thank God it didn't have Clive anywhere. Or like some character from the game. Because I'm like, imagine if I hate this game, I'm like, yeah, they're just too yeah, that's from Final Fantasy 3, man. Like, it's like, it's fine.
I do think it's interesting when you look back at, like, one of the comparisons I saw was, people saying that this isn't a Final Fantasy game and listing off it's nothing like anything in the recent history. And you look at it and you go, well, yeah, but if you point out to people in historical terms, Final Fantasy VII, which now is probably deemed by a lot of people as the best Final Fantasy in the series and is getting a remake for justified reasons, when that game came out, that was nothing like any of the other Final Fantasies that had come before it. That was a departure from what Final Fantasy had done. And this game, in so many ways, is a return to the earlier style of Final Fantasies in terms of
thematically and stylized.
Yes.
Like it is, yeah.
Yeah, it is returning to that.
Final Fantasy 3 introducing job classes over the straight like structure of the first two, that was a huge change. 6 was a huge change. 10 was a huge change with the way it designed its less open world structure, more linear stuff. 11 was the first attempt at an MMO. Like they've always like the idea of this isn't a Final Fantasy game. I do think that's like a redundant criticism to make. I think saying that me saying I don't like all these elements like is one thing, but saying it's not Final Fantasy because it's tried something different from a franchise that has every few games tried something different. I don't think that's like that Final Fantasy is always like, I mean, the biggest example is
changing.
Yeah, the biggest example is literally two of the mainline Final Fantasy numbered games are MMOs, 11 and
14.
MMOs. So that's like, what do you mean this isn't a Final Fantasy game? Like there's fucking MMOs in the mainline game.
I think this is the best Final Fantasy for people to jump in on, like who have never played a Final Fantasy before. I remember when I jumped in on
Is
Final
7
Fantasy
Remake
10,
not? With the fact that you can play it turn-based or as a full action game, like is that not?
I think 7 Remake still wouldn't nearly be as good if you had. I don't know. I don't know.
Ash never played it, and tell me now, Ash. You're 6 hours into this. Come on, compare the 6 hours of this to 6 hours of Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, it's
remake,
apples and oranges.
It's still like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I finished 7 and I was like dying to play every single minute of it.
Yeah, so
that's fair. I don't know. I just think,
but also that is also a tiny slice of a bigger story as well. Whereas this game is going to be a complete story. So
I'd say people are doing like weird things about the criticism for this game too. I saw a tweet this morning. It's like, if you don't like this game, I bet you only like 7 and all these sorts of ones. I bet you don't like the weird ones like 13 and 15. And I'm like reading that going, so far I'm not really enjoying this game. I actually like 13 and Lightning Returns was good. And 15, although I have some criticisms about that too, I actually liked and got to platinum and like the boys were fun to hang around and have a good little road trip. So like I think the fact that people are getting so defensive about this game is weird to me.
Well-
I do think this is a divisive game, and that's totally fine because it's such a big franchise that's like doing something different. But yeah,
I feel
people
like
trying
this
to
game
find reasons
had-
why people don't like it. Yeah.
I feel like this game though had this very weird fucking opening couple of days in terms of community discourse, and because we had the first day of it when reviews dropped and everybody is like glowing about the game, and this is where the one that stuck out for me was I remember seeing a tweet on the first day from Jason Schreier being like glowing about this game and like talking this game up, and then the next day I see him retweeting a skill up tweet, and skill up's fairly negative about this game.
Yeah.
And Jason's like, oh, this game falls over in the last third, and starts like a really negative paragraph about it. And I'm just really fucking confused about like kind of where.
I'll tell you what, I got huge whiplash. I'm listening to a Well Played's podcast on my drive to work today, and Skill Up's on that, and like talking with Nathan, who was the Well Played reviewer, and he gave it a 7. And
the lowest score of
the
all
lowest,
these,
like on the quality critic score was the 7 from Well Played. And him, Nathan, and Skill Up talking about it. And very negative. And that podcast finishes, and the next podcast it goes to in my queue is Kind of Funny, which starts with Tim saying this is one of the greatest games of all time.
the best Final Fantasy game of all time. Yeah.
I was like fucking huge whiplash between the two podcasts.
Yeah, like Tim talking about how he thinks it's gonna be his favorite Final Fantasy in the series. Like it is divisive to say the least in this function. It's just very.
I think. Yeah, it's definitely a game that is its own flavor, and it is not going to be for everybody. It's not chocolate.
Thank God.
No, it's chocolate.
I mean, obviously, I would. Oh, let's ask the key question. Ash.
Yeah.
Are you going to finish this game?
Fingers crossed. I'm going to put more time into it. We'll see.
Okay.
I will say. I do have one thing a game that's been distracting me from playing this game, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, yeah. Kieran?
Yeah, I'm going to try everything I can to finish this game.
Yeah. I'm going to finish the game as a massive Final Fantasy fan as well, but I'm going to be completely honest. If this wasn't Final Fantasy and this was just a random big AAA RPG I brought into the hype of, I probably would stop.
Yep. Okay.
Is where I'm at with it. All right, let's talk about a game. I actually got a review up for this week. It's something else I was playing prior to Final Fantasy dropping, which was Aliens Dark Descent. So this game, I think was making fun of whenever a trailer dropped because it actually looked bad. Turns out it's actually like good and close to being pretty fucking great if it wasn't for some bugs and stuff. Turns out, like in the scheme of Alien games and Aliens games and whatever else, where they seem to make everyone bad, the genre they needed to do was a real-time tactics game. So of all the fucking wild things. So this game is you control a squad of 4 Marines at a time. You don't control that. They move in one. So if you like right click to make a move somewhere, if an alien runs past them and spots them, they will automatically shoot at them. You can right click to guide them around the map. You can right click to, you put them behind cover. This game is on console. I was playing on PC. You can put them behind cover. They will act in one. If you ever, the one thing you can't do, and this is sort of a plus and a negative to the design of the game, is you can't like circle one Marine and say, and tell that, like just run off with one Marine across the ship and tell 3 others to hide. Like if you're behind cover and you tell a Marine to go set up a turret, it'll run out from behind cover by itself. It'll go put that turret up. It'll come straight back to cover. Like this game very much is like you are in a squad of 4. You are together. That's sort of, like it's got a very unified collaborative process to how all the characters and stuff work together. It does a really fucking good job at building up the alien tension and dread, and I think it's probably one of the better games I've seen doing this for an Alien franchise. So like you're clicking around, it does the very Aliens thing of you've got your little alien little GPS, whatever you call it, tracker thing down the bottom left-hand corner. You can see dots moving around and aliens in other rooms and stuff like that. And I'm trying to scope them out. The game, if you want you to not engage in combat, but it knows you will because you're playing a bunch of Marines. Like you're not sneaking around. You've got guns. You're going to shoot them eventually. But the game does a thing where you drop into a mission and it's got like a semi-open map sort of area for how you can do the mission structure. The longer you don't engage severely in combat with the xenomorphs, the lower your like sort of wanted level, if you want to call it that, will stay. The more combat you get into, the higher that rises, and the more the aliens will get aggressive in their attacks, and the more every time you spotted, like suddenly there'll be a fucking like horde of them, and more likely death is. It follows in XCOM sort of route where, so at the end of missions, your Marines will level up. They unlock new skills and abilities, and they can use better guns at high levels. That said, if a Marine dies, they're dead. Like there's no, unless you want to reload your save or something like that, Marine dies, they're dead. You can finish a mission with one Marine left alive and the other 3 left for dead, and bring back the dog tags and stuff like that. Outside of missions, you do have like a couple different facilities. So you will have like a training facility. You can have Marines getting XP between missions. So then you've got some that are semi-leveled up. You've got a place where you can learn new make new guns. You can learn new abilities for your Marines and stuff like that. I feel like this is a game that Ash would probably really like if it wasn't aliens. Do you feel like that's like a good?
It wasn't scary, yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't scary, I feel like this is probably a game you would actually quite enjoy. I was really, really loving it. However, it has a fucking bunch of bugs at launch, and one that actually completely stalled my progress, which is really annoying. I looked through forums and found out it's a sort of be a rarity, but not that I was solely alone. But basically, I couldn't progress. I ended up just, because I didn't get this review up until a couple days after the game was out in the public, I ended up just watching the last hour of the game's last mission on YouTube. Oof. And I was like, cool. Like, just so I could see it through, because that's the other thing. I was surprised how much I actually wanted to see the story through. I guess as a fan of the franchise, it does a lot of interesting things with the alien lore that I was appreciating, and the characters, the main 2 characters, who are, it's like a deputy administrator is actually the main character you're controlling when you're outside missions. She's the one like making decisions and stuff like that. And then there's a sergeant who's the other person she'll talk to. So they're like the 2 main characters, because of course the nameless, or they've got names, but the Marines you're controlling, they're not like characters. They're just, the people down there when you're playing the game. But the story they had between them and stuff was really good, and actually some good chemistry and some good, brought up some interesting characterizations and stuff. I was actually quite surprised by the writing in the game. So I ended up giving it a 7, because a lot of people, I did some research and be like, okay, so how widespread are the bugs and glitches? Bugs, glitches, minor ones, very widespread. Major bugs ruining game progress, like myself, minor from what I could come across. So I was like, it's 7, and I made sure to put a note at the bottom of my review saying that I will happily update the score and bring it up to be higher if I can go back and actually play the game through to its finish later. So that's where I'm at for that right now. But I'll put it at this: I don't suggest playing this now because of the issues. However, in a month from now, if they've patched it, I highly suggest this game. It's probably actually would be one of my favorite things I've played so far this year, which is came out of nowhere. So
yep. So when
I love a good
Steam
surprise,
sale or something, pick it up.
And I do love a good we was making fun of this game every time a trailer was shown somewhere, and then it actually turns out to be quite good. So, right, second game review, and Ash, I'll get your thoughts on this one as well. So I put up review for Speed Crew. I gave it a 7.5. So Speed Crew is basically Overcooked inspired, but you're playing as a group of mechanics. You have to take engines out of cars, put them back in, fix them, fix up tires, all these sorts of things. I played a couple hours with Ash and Buddy, and then I played another couple hours by myself to finish off the missions we didn't get to finish. So I could see the
story.
What is of the story, for I guess, if you want to call it that. It's a lot of fun. I think it's probably one of the better or best Overcooked inspired games, at least out of the few I've played. Not so I've played that many, but I do think it doesn't try to copy Overcooked too much while having that same sort of multiplayer flavor. The fact that it's got online at launch is a huge plus, like considering these games we could never usually play because a lot of them just launch with local.
Considering Overcooked 1 and
they were just local
local
only at launch. So that's fun. The fact that there's a character called Dominion Toretto, who's obviously Dominic Toretto, and they're ripping off Fast and Furious is a lot of fun. And when we was playing the three of us, we kept laughing at that. So 7.5 is where I ended up. Ash, how did you feel about the couple hours we played that night?
Yeah, I think it's really fun. It's like obviously a very nice, fun twist on the, teamwork. I don't know, what's this genre called?
Overcooked?
The Overcooked genre.
Yeah,
with lots of like inventive ways to like add layers to the pit crew where, on one level you have to change tires with a certain, like a wrench or whatever. And then later on you can get something that will do it automatically where you don't need to tap down or whatever. But then they mix and match a lot of the different devices across different levels, so you kind of need to remember which one goes with which, and then you need to search kind of the map to find the tools all the time as well. And then also on a lot of the levels, you're doing the mechanic. It's like you're a pit crew during a race.
Yes.
Rather than like you're a mechanic at a mechanic shop. Yeah. So there are actually cars going around at the same time. So there is the fear of getting,
Let's not lie, you just kept getting hit by the cars.
Everybody gets hit by cars. I don't think we need to single anybody out.
Sounds like you need to be singled out, Ash. It sounds like it.
But yeah, it was really fun. I feel like maybe it was a little bit finicky, like some of the tools and stuff, like a lot of the things that you need to push around and that kind of stuff. Like you need to get it at the right angle or like come at exactly the right side and that kind of stuff. But or like if you had tools, like you had two tools right next to each other and that kind of stuff, got a little bit finicky. But overall, I had a really good time. It was like, and we were really good at it. That helped.
We got it by then.
Just kept winning most of the time.
Yes, chef. I mean, yes, mechanic. I know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, so the other thing that will be it probably won't be up until later, actually after this is up, I'm not sure, but we'll talk about it now, is especially because Will went to the effort. He wasn't sure when I was recording Arcade Couch this week, so he messaged me last night and was like, hey, I know I won't have this till tomorrow because you're recording Arcade Couch tonight. Here's my thoughts on this. So Will's got a Forgotten Skies preview, early access review up. He did the preview for it about a couple months ago. He said he's going to give it a 1 up, 1 down. He says it's an early access survival game that carries some of the baggage associated with that. No major performance issues other than frame drops at various points and some jank with the controls. The vibe and atmosphere are nailed, so I would currently most recommend to most people interested in exploring a post-apocalyptic world while sailing in an airship. So I haven't had time to edit his actual full review, early access review, but 1 up, 1 down, and look for that on the website. Probably maybe by the time this is up, if not later Monday, by the time this is going.
Cool. Also, if we move on,
yeah.
I mean, Rogue Legacy dropped on PS Plus, and I've been playing it a lot.
Oh God! Oh no!
It's great. It's Rogue Legacy, but better and expanded. It's been out like
I got to be honest.
It came out like a year ago. On
when I
Xbox
booted,
and PC.
I think I booted up PlayStation last night, went to play Final Fantasy. I see Ash playing Rogue Legacy too. I was like, well, there's his review.
It's addicting. I mean, it definitely has that like one more run. Just one more run. You know? Or you just unlock one new class, you're like, oh, I want to give that a go. You know? There's a boxer class. The little dude does punches and builds up combos. It's pretty great.
Everybody should play I love the first game. So.
It is such bad timing.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, just one run before bed, or 2,
20,
or maybe
20
like
rows.
5, or maybe I just need a little bit more gold to like build up the castle. You know.
Why don't you tell you what I've been playing a lot of this last week instead of spending more time playing Final Fantasy? And I'll save that until after this. Let's talk a little bit around the Nintendo Direct that happened earlier this week. Of course, Nintendo fashion, they announced it all of about 24 hours ahead of time. We'll run through everything here, but I think as a person who usually cares the most about Nintendo Directs on this show, banger is my opinion. This fucking massive ass show was huge announcements here. I think after coming off Summer Game Fest and like watching just such like mixed showcases and stuff, like watching this and just being like, fuck, Nintendo does these things well. Like just the pacing between everything. I was like, I miss a good Nintendo Direct, you know. So that's my review of this. They kick things off with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Hidden Treasures of Area Zero DLC, new trailer for that, showed off the part 1 and part 2 DLC. Of course, the first part, more of a sort of expedition. Second part, you're sort of transfer student at a new school. So no date or anything yet, but cool new trailer. Sonic Superstars then got a Switch-focused trailer for that game, showing off how it does co-op for the first time, and that's exciting. Also, release date leaked for that a couple days ago, so apparently it's coming out November, I think 17th, which
wasn't it announced during the 30th birthday celebration? Or no?
Not that I missed. I think it just leaked, and then they like it's coming out awkward timing because of another game that's announced due later. Palia, it got a trailer. It's a farming game. It's a free-to-play farming game. So that's your big pull on this one.
There we go. It's going to extinct all the other farming games.
I really
pay for it.
Doubt that.
Right?
No. Persona 5 Tactica got a new trailer. Actually showed off the most.
It's a communist farming.
Fucking hell. Kieran, I know. Have we talked about this? I can't remember if we had talked about this on the show. Are you going to play this or? You going to play this?
Probably not.
Like in all honesty, Persona 5.
Like, probably not. No.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, we talked about it because it was on the Xbox one.
Yeah, we talked about
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
I thought it was a good trailer. Obviously, this one expanded a bit more about what the actual gameplay and that kind of stuff is going to be. So,
yeah. I think us two, me and Ash like these sorts of games more than Kieran.
Yeah,
I think
turn-based.
Yeah, turn-based stuff. I think this looks fucking great.
I think to put it in perspective, I haven't played any of the spin-off Persona 5 games. Is
there many?
Appeal to me.
There's like one.
There's
two.
like
is it two?
The Strikers and there's the dance one.
Yeah,
there's the dance one.
Strikers, the dance one.
Did I play that?
I think so.
Cool.
Isn't it like?
Because it was the Persona 3 and Persona 5 both had dance games coming.
Yeah,
like Dancing All Night or something. Right?
Yeah, cool. I think I did play it actually. Yeah, cool. Myth Force, dungeon crawler, 90s inspired cartoon show visuals. Honestly, I'm sitting here watching the trailer expecting a top-down, like, sort of dungeon crawler game.
First person.
The fact it's first person, I was like, you know what?
I don't know.
This looks sort of interesting.
It looked like it was made for VR. I don't know what it was from just a few first-person clips that showed off, but it looked like it had the very...
I think it's just the art style gives it that.
I think it was the art style, but also, like, the hands aren't attached to anything in the clip that I could see, so it looked like it was, you know how VR do hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For play online though, so like you can go dungeon crawling in first person. Like at least I feel like this is at least something different. Like most of these games are usually not first person dungeon crawling games. Usually Diablo likes.
It's a bit of confirmation if this is only on Switch or if this is going to be on anything else.
No, because it's currently got a demo on Steam Netflix. So
right. Okay.
Yeah. Splatoon 3, new Splatfest coming in Splatfest. That's happening July 14th, July 16th. Is which flavor ice cream is the best? Vanilla, strawberry, or choc chip? Ash, what is the answer?
It's choc chip.
Karen, what is the answer?
Chip.
Mint choc chip is pretty fucking dope.
What about you,
Strawberry is my answer.
Okay. I saw people getting very upset that it wasn't vanilla, strawberry, chocolate.
And was it Neapolitan? But the Neapolitan, you just leave the fucking strawberry. The strawberry gets left in the fucking...
I don't think those people thought that through.
What?
In the context of this game.
What, black, white, and pink? Well, brown, white, and pink.
Yeah, just brown stuff all over the place.
Just spraying brown stuff all over the place, yeah.
Yeah. Not exactly the most appealing color for cloud.
Appealing, yeah. I think people forgot that it wasn't just a random ice cream vote; it would play part of the game.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
The game,
so We then got our first, just fucking out of nowhere announcement. Detective Pikachu Returns is a game. It's coming out October 6th. Brand new adventure. Of course, the original game was a 3DS game. It's been trapped on that console. They didn't bother to do I was surprised. I really thought they would do a remaster port before they did a sequel, but they're like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's not that.
I don't know how much the second screen played into that.
It would have played in a fair bit, I guess, is the thing for solving puzzles and
easy.
stuff like that.
But I don't know if this came out of nowhere because I feel like they announced this ages ago. I think before the movie came out, they were making a second game, so it's just
we never seen anything about
surprised.
it ever before, and then they're like,
I feel like there was a small trailer before.
No, they were like, here's a trailer. It's coming out in a couple months. Fucking let's go. Pikachu is also talking, fully voice acted now. How is this?
Now I understand why everybody wanted Danny DeVito to voice.
Isn't it fucking weird though? Like just having Pikachu like crawling around talking.
It's crazy that this Pikachu is from Melbourne and is very particular about his coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. I feel. I'm very keen for this. This looks just wild. It looks absolutely fucking wild, and I cannot think of anything.
It's a big Pokemon game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is the big Pokemon game of the game of the year, I guess. But
Kieran's
like, no, fuck this.
The voice actually lost me. I was like, you're joking. What the fuck is going on?
Isn't that the best though?
Is it part of
the voice
charm?
you would not expect from Pikachu?
Yeah,
it's not even just Pikachu's voice. It is like the other protagonist's voice. I'm like, the fuck is that voice? It just doesn't match.
I just like when it first comes up and just he's like, so much for my coffee. I'm like, so good. I love it. And then the internet blew up with the next announcement, which was Super Mario RPG. So the NES game finally being remade. I feel like this is one of the games I've heard people clamor and try to get remade the most. I feel like this is one of the most requested Nintendo remakes. I've never played Super Mario RPG. I know people love it, so I'm very keen for this. I think that this was an absolutely fantastic trailer. I think the game looks stunning. I love the art direction and stuff. I've looked up, seen people do comparisons and stuff like that. I think you can, for people who care, you can see the original game coming across to this. The fact this was a SquareSoft game and that like, you know, I've got Final Fantasy fucking 16 over here for its combat, and they're like remade this SquareSoft game, which is turn-based combat.
If you're upset about Final Fantasy 16, here's the fix.
Here's the real Mario. Yeah, here's your proper RPG over here. So, yeah, I can't wait for this. I think this looks fucking fantastic. November 17th is when this one is coming out, which I believe is the Sonic release date leak. I think that's what it was.
Is it?
Anyone else care for this or just me? Like,
oh no, I'm definitely keen for this. I mean, it looks fantastic, and it's definitely one of those quirky games that you constantly hear about.
Yeah,
like people renting the game from video game stores, trying to play through it on a weekend or whatever, constantly. Yeah. I mean, I believe it was on the Super Nintendo Mini. You could play it there, but to have like a proper full version, like updated, probably
modernized.
Very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. We then got an untitled Princess Peach game just announced out of nowhere. They sort of looks like she's running across like stages. And,
yeah, it seems like a broad like musical theater thing. I don't know.
Very quick teaser, more to come. It's exciting that Peach is going to have her own what looks to be a
feminism,
3D game. Yeah.
Equality.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is getting remastered. So this is the 3DS Luigi's Mansion game. So not a sequel to the one they put out a couple of years ago, but they're going back and remastering the 3DS one. That's cool, again, because I didn't ever play it on 3DS either. Looked good, I thought, so for a 3DS remaster. Arkham Trilogy then got a trailer for some fucking reason.
Finally. You can play those games the way they were always meant to be played.
Handheld while taking a shit.
Handheld on an airplane. On the top of a building with a bunch of friends.
Yeah. I was going to say, in a rooftop bar.
Yeah. Look for Met Parks, everyone. Gloomhaven then got announcements coming to Nintendo Switch September 18th. I've never played this. I know it's huge though. PC 2021, people love it. So turn-based card combat game. Cool. Just Dance 2024 got a trailer. It's again.
I believe it's Just Dance.
Sorry, Just Dance. Just Dance. Just Dance. Just Dance. Da 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 da. Copyright strike. Silent Hope. New action RPG coming to Nintendo Switch October 3rd. Explore dungeons, 7 unique heroes, party members. Man, Final Fantasy 16 doesn't have a
heroes.
Party. How's that?
It does have a party.
7?
It fucking does have a party.
One person at a time? It's fucking...
It does say party.
It does say party. When you pause, the party screen down the bottom is little pixel character of
Clive, a dog, and someone else. Cool.
Don't you dare discount the dog.
I mean, it is a massive coincidence that he shows up in the game.
Look, it is a very massive coincidence. I was like,
and it's a massive coincidence he recognizes
story-wise, I don't think it's a coincidence he recognizes it. Story-wise, I was a bit disappointed by just that whole
reunion,
like coming together. Yeah, because I'm like, the dog's like, hey, what up? And Clive's like, hey, what up?
Hey, what up?
And you're like, oh, you don't recognize the dog? And then he's like, yeah, that's my dog. And then Sid's just like, oh, cool, you can take it then. There you go. It's like
this dog I've been taking care of for 13 years. It's fine.
Yep, just have it.
Seen it grown up and everything. You can have it.
Fae Farm got a trailer September 8th. That one's coming out. This one, people I know are super pumped for and looking for. So,
you have to pay for this one.
You have to pay for this one. Yeah, that's true. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged got a trailer. I'm keen for this as well, but I'm not going to play this on Switch. But yeah, cool trailer.
This one had like a bunch more gameplay, right?
Yeah,
like
different trailer, and it shows like a live action section at the start of like cars driving out of a house and shit like that to show off the different elements of this game.
And that's the dream.
Yeah, that's true. Manic Machines then got announced. It basically looked like Speed Crew, but not.
Yeah, it's Speed Crew, but
Manic Mechanics, yeah.
But without the racing.
Without the racing part, yeah, that's what it looks like. So, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the Last Spark Hunter DLC that is out now. Get excited to play the game. Ubisoft also talked about how this week that Nintendo was like, hey, you should delay putting out that game. It'll do better if you wait. And Ubisoft was like, no, fuck it, we're putting it out. And now,
yeah. I want to know, did they give him a date when the next hardware's coming?
No, I don't know. I just think that it just goes to show Nintendo's like just that Japanese mentality compared to like it's like different mentalities of like.
I mean, it's very telling. They're like, guys, scarcity. Yeah. That's the important thing on the Nintendo consoles. Don't give them too much choice. Don't give them too many options. They get confused and scared.
Yeah. Just fuck it up. Dragon Quest
also, where's Rayman? Is Rayman meant to be in this?
No, that's
DLC?
that's the last DLC. It comes out like that's like the third DLC. It's on 8. Okay. This is the second DLC that's out now. And they showed a little bit.
Well, this says the final DLC launches today.
Yeah, but the final major DLC, I should say, I guess.
Okay, whatever.
So, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince, new entry in Dragon Quest Monsters series release later this year. This is the first time one of these games have been released in like 7 years. So, super popular franchise, of course. Dragon Quest is Dragon Quest Monsters, super popular spin-off of said franchise. In fact, there was a period there where a bunch were only releasing in Japan and making it to the West. I remember growing up when I was in high school and reading about them, being like, what's this thing about games not getting, brought over to Western audiences? How weird. Mm-hmm. Pikmin 4 then got a deep dive. It looks very cool. Ochi's still here to be the best boy. I don't know. Who's the better dog? Final Fantasy 16 dog or this dog? I'm going to vote Pikmin dog.
Toggle.
Incorrect.
Toggle is best. Toggle is best boy.
That would be a good article to do in the future. Best gaming dogs.
Best game dog of 2023. I don't know, because the Pikmin dog, it carries things.
Torkoal can heal you for a non-disclosed amount that doesn't actually feel like you've ever been healed, but it says he's healed you.
Yeah.
And he's around, and you can pet him whenever you want, and he's a good boy. He's a good lad.
You can ride the Pikmin dog.
I bet at some point to find it. Probably not, but still.
He seems big enough, but probably not. Yeah.
Bro, he wears bling. Like he wears like cufflinks and stuff and bracelets. Like,
true.
Yeah.
So as someone who's, I think I've previously said when I talked about Pikmin 4, never played a Pikmin game. Pikmin 4 looks fucking cool to me. I very much like this, like nearly 4 minute trailer deep dive. I think it looks really, really different, exciting sort of game. I think I'm very keen to get on board for Pikmin's. They then announced that Pikmin 4 will be getting a demo on June 8th. So everything I just said, I can confirm or deny after I play that demo that comes out later this week. Sorry, June 28th. Yeah, I can finally play that and to let you know if I suddenly hate it. Because I was nearly going to be like, maybe I want to try, because after this they announced and that Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 remasters, they were shadow dropped straight onto the Switch store. And I was tempted to be like, maybe I'll just like give one of these a go and see how I feel about Pikmin. But I was like, no, I'll just wait for the demo. That feels like the smarter move, right? That's free.
Also, it's weird that they called it Pikmin 1 and not just Pikmin.
Yeah, I know. It is, because it's just called Pikmin at the time. It wasn't called Pikmin 1. Pikmin 2 was called Pikmin 2, but Pikmin was just called Pikmin. Pikmin was just called Pikmin. So, I don't know. Anyone else care about Pikmin or no?
No.
Cool.
Nope.
Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. We finally got a bunch of details about this. So what's going to be included in this collection, which is coming to other consoles outside the Switch, but this is where the information came. So it comes with Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid Snake, NES version of Metal Gear, and the NES exclusive game Metal Gear Snake's Revenge. That was not made with Kojima involved in it at all. Plus, it includes 2 graphic novels and many extras, including strategy guides. It is a fucking massive collection, if I got to be honest. Like, as far as
there's all the soundtracks as well.
Yep, all the soundtracks, everything. I think as far as like extras packaged into something like this is a pretty fucking packed package.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot happening in here. Pretty cool collection of stuff here. I can't say I've ever seen a game. I've seen games include art books and stuff in these collections before.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of these collections have official strategy guides as part of the extras included in them. I think that's a pretty cool addition I've never seen before.
I guess it just depends on how it functions in the game. Like in the UI of the
you're going to be zooming and moving, you know.
Or they give DRM free codes to everybody.
I don't.
Come on, Konami.
You can dream. Vampire Survivors then got announced is coming to Nintendo Switch on August 17th. At the same time, DLC is coming to all platforms, which will add 4-player local co-op to the game. Vampire Survivors on the Switch, that is a fucking
that's bad news.
That's bad news for a lot of people. And I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you something, and something I'm going to talk to you after this segment. Vampire Survivors on a handheld console is bad news. It is bad news.
Ash, you need to finish Final Fantasy XVI, okay? You got to do it.
Now, I do want to talk about this quickly for people who are like, what is Vampire Survivors? I have a Nintendo Switch. It's a game that costs like $5 and it is super fucking addicting. So it sounds boring, and if you look at the art style, it looks like arse. And we've talked about this before, I think, when we talked about like favorite games of last year. I believe I had it on my top 10. I think I put it like lowish or something like that. So it looks like arse. It looks like it would be super boring, but fuck is it good. It's an auto shooter. So all you do is you move your character around. They'll automatically shoot. Once you kill enough enemies, they drop XP. You pick that up. You get to pick a randomized next weapon or upgrade or something like that. So like a ability. By the time you get towards the you're like suddenly playing this game for like 20 minutes. You have fucking hundreds of enemies on the screen. You're just like trying to survive, barely moving, just like hoping for your abilities go off correct and hoping you've built your character correctly. And then you die, and then you're like, fuck, just one more game. It's the never-ending cycle of Vampire Survivor. So,
4-player local co-op sounds interesting.
I don't know how it works.
How's it work? How's the upgrade, like the upgradability thing happen?
I had no idea.
Pause a game for once somebody needs to upgrade, or do you collectively all upgrade at the same time?
I assume you would have to collectively upgrade.
Yeah, that would make
sense. It would get really annoying. It would get really annoying otherwise. Like, everyone would just be pausing the game every couple seconds.
Yeah.
Headbangers Rhythm Royale then got a trailer here. This was announced during one of the things, I can't remember which one, Future Game Show or something, I think. But this was a gameplay trailer that actually showed up some of the mini games in this. Go watch that original trailer, because again, it is the fucking catchiest, most ridiculous song in it. But then I think this looks really stupid and fun. I'm keen to give this a go. I think the commitment to doing a rhythm based selection of mini games with a bunch of pigeons and stuff like that, it looks dumb fun. I'm very keen to give this a go. This is coming to other stuff as well outside Switch, by the way. So
I feel like this needs to be a free to play game.
If it's free to play, I think it has high chance of being.
It has hope.
Well. Yeah.
If it's like full price game, I think it's not going to find an audience.
Correct. Yeah, I'd go by that. I think if it's even if it's like cheap, so like $10,
or it needs to launch on one of the streaming services, or one of the
PlayStation Plus, or like something,
or
like
the
that,
Game Pass, or something.
Xbox Game Pass, or something. Yeah. We then got Penny's Big Breakaways. This is a new game from the team behind Sonic Mania. It's a 3D sort of old school platformer adventure sort of game. Go around, collect things, platforming upgrades, or whatever we called those games back in the day. I can't remember. Looks cool. I mean, you're going around. There's a bunch of penguins. You run upside the walls, skating down things. Buddy was messaging while watching the direct. I believe this is the game he got most excited about. So yeah, this was the hashtag buddy game of the show, other than the last game, I believe. So I think this is the one he sounded the most excited about. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Not something I'm going to like run out to play, but I would play it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pack. I cannot believe they're still making these. The fact that this has 3 new characters being added to the game, and there's a new track.
Wii U game.
Yep, that's right. And it's a new course. They're not even like porting old courses now. They're just like, nah, fuck it. New track, squeaky clean spring.
We could make an entirely new game, but
yeah, nah, fuck it.
Let's keep going.
Fucking wild. Another announcement that broke the internet. I know a lot of people were super excited about this. I have no attachment to the franchise, so I got nothing, but I know a lot of people were hyped. Star Ocean, the second story was announced. This is a remake of the second Star Ocean game. This is how you do remakes. So this is, I like the way, like I was watching a video and people talking about this. So it's like a full reimagining, which is, I think, the way to do it. So it's like keeps the core story, keeps the core sort of the stuff that people like about the game. You've got the pixel art characters that you're moving around, and you've got this new sort of beautiful art of the characters when they pop up on the screen talking. And then you've got this sort of like, say, a real-time updated version of the combat and everything. Like there's definitely a lot of effort, I think, and like thought gone into how they would want to do this reimagining of this game, which is cool. And from what I saw, anyone who cares about this franchise, at least on my Twitter timeline, was absolutely losing their mind at this announcement. So good for them.
Very cool art style.
The pixel art and stuff.
The pixel art with the like completely 3D
environments and stuff and backgrounds. Yeah. You can move around. It looks like the character is like 3D, but they're pixels, so they're like flat against it. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe they did like a remake of the first one of the first Star Ocean. I don't think it was anything
like this. So
yeah.
WarioWare Move got announced. It looks like One-Two Switch, but with Wario, and to me that's a plus because at least then it has like more personality and like Wario is fun. So this looks fun. It's really weird that they basically announced this for November 3rd, the week before that new 1-2 Switch game's coming out.
That game is coming out to die.
They're fucking burying their own game, so a bit weird. But
it's a tax break.
Yeah, must be. Nintendo Live 2023 Seattle got talked about. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Amiibos got announced, one for Zelda, one for Ganondorf. And then the end of the show with the announcement.
Oh, sorry, Kieran. Sorry, there wasn't any breath.
Not gonna lie, I got a bit hyped during this bit. I was like, let's go, let's do it.
It's going to be here.
I get half a point because there was the Nintendo Direct showcase, and that was part of the prediction. But yeah, I got fucked on. They really fucked me on this one.
They ended the Nintendo Direct by announcing Super Mario Brothers Wonder, aka Mario turns into a fucking elephant and is talking plants.
AKA, what if Mario did drugs?
Yeah, AKA Mario does drugs, the video game. This game looks absolutely wild, and I loved everything about it. And the fact that they ran out of Wii U Mario games to remake is a blessing because I was sick of those. And the last one, I brought it, I played it, got to the end, and I went, "This game is average," and then I got rid of it. I don't even have it anymore. Gone.
Doesn't even have it. Bloody hell.
Don't even have it anymore. So this one looks really, really cool. The fact that the flowers are talking, but the fact that Mario turns into an elephant and just kicks the fuck out of a whatever it is at the end. It's just the colors, the vibrancy, the map moving around, the fact that Mario like stops and does a fucking full on joint with Peach on the sides. It's insane. This game.
is really interesting because obviously it's a new art style to this game that we haven't seen like them switch up with any of these like 2D ones.
No, definitely not for ages. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously they had to do something completely different because they've had Mario Maker 1 and 2, which kind of defeated the purpose of making more of these games. So
100%.
to add completely wild elements, I mean, is where they kind of need to go.
I love it. I know it looked great. I don't know if anyone does. Anyone else actually care? No one else is going to play this, are they?
No, probably not.
These are all fake.
It looked cool.
These are all fake fucking.
Only if they like he like can unlock like the Mario movie Mario at some point. He turns into the Mario movie Mario with Chris Pratt voicing him.
I don't know how you could want to play this. Mario literally takes acid and then the fucking pipes start moving around. Like there's giant purple fucking hippopotamuses rolling around. This game looks wild.
He turns into an elephant. I need to know what else he turns into.
Yeah, what the fuck else? Because like Kirby eats everything.
It can't be just that.
Yeah.
Also, if Mario turns into an elephant and you're playing as all those other characters as well, they're all going to turn into elephants as well.
That's a good point. Yeah. So what's Peach look like as an elephant?
Wow, why does it suddenly go straight to turning into an elephant?
I don't know. She's the first character that came to mind. Fuck me. So I'm just going to watch this back for a sec. I'm just going to listen. So he walks along. He takes the thing. He says, "Oh, Zowie," and he turns into an elephant. Everyone, it's on. And then he fucking walks up to the Goomba, and this old mate Flower behind him, because he's just chilling there, right? This Flower for some reason. He says something. What's he say again? Hold on. He says, the Flower goes, "That Goomba looks so serene," and then Mario fucking drop kicks him the fuck out of
the Goomba's sleeping with the classic nose snot. You know?
And the Flower says he looks so serene, and then Mario kicks him, and then the Flower just goes, "Well then." It's so good. 10 out of 10. Now, yous are all like, "Oh man, Final Fantasy is no longer on the Game of the Year category. It's probably Zelda." But tell me that ain't Game of the Year. It's fucking insane. I think Miyamoto is on fucking drugs.
I think
you know what? I reckon he's hanging out with Seth Rogen a fair bit. You know, getting some of that. Hanging out in Illumination in the corner.
You know what? Fucking good for him. He deserves to have a break, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, that was everything from the Nintendo Direct. Let me talk about something else we've been playing, which is, obviously I wasn't here last week. Why wasn't I here last week? What happened?
You didn't feel like recording. You did not feel like recording.
You're like, fuck it.
No.
You didn't feel like recording.
Did I?
You had something on, and then you did.
Oh, no. I wasn't even home. I didn't even get back. That's right. I was at my nan's. That's where I was. I was at my nan's. She had a birthday. My nan and Kieran share a birthday is what I, connecting fabric. So there you go. Yeah, I know. I didn't get home till like fucking 9:45. Years were done by the time I got home. Last week. So I've had my ASUS Rog Ally for like 2 weeks now.
AKA Rog Deck.
I've had my ROG deck for a while now. I've been playing video games on it. I'll tell you what. Now, Kieran, I was about to say, I want Kieran to, how do you want to set this up, Kieran? Because you're the one who doubts on my purchases, everything like that. How do you want to word my like opinions on this device?
What do you mean? Like, just.
What do you want to know?
I want to, like, how are you going with it? I've heard there's been the odd faulty unit, and people have had to send them back already from a couple of different people. So how is your experience going with your ROG deck?
ROG deck is fucking the shit. How good is being able to play fucking PC games without having to sit at your nerd PC in your nerd fucking
I feel
chair
like it's only very specific nerd
keyboard.
PC games.
I can get into bed, be all cozy. Yeah!
What?
Guess what I was doing at work today, Kieran? Guess what I did on my lunch break today? Played Steam Next Fest demos. Whoa! Oh.
I don't know why you're doing this like it's a celebration or you're bragging or like this is exactly
In
what
your
I
face,
said.
Kieran.
In your face, you
How
fucker.
is it in my face? You're proving me right when I said this is fantastic. I literally said when we were talking about you getting one, this is fantastic for Dylan because he will be able to freely play Steam Next Fest and demos like it without being on his PC. I fucking said that, so you're proving me right currently.
Guess what else? I also played a bunch of that Aliens game on this motherfucker. And
Okay,
I could
good.
that's how I helped get that review done, because I took that shit to work, motherfucker.
Well, maybe that's why it corrupted.
Yeah, I was
No.
going to say, maybe that's your problem.
No, I asked that question. That was no question.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Here's my mini review so far. This thing is absolutely fantastic. The one big glaring negative, and I'll get out of the way, battery life sucks. That is the one huge downside of having a handheld that's a good PC in your hands. Is the battery life is not good. Now this is no, it's just like probably like 4 hours, I guess. That'd probably be my rough estimate. 4 hours.
How's it
4 hours.
compared to the Switch?
Oh, Switch would fucking. This thing would probably
Switch
take 3
also?
charges to Switch to last
But
forever.
the Switch also doesn't have to run things that are very
Yeah. So here's
a lot of time.
the other thing is this. So
apart from Zelda.
in a world where, so in comparison, I guess, because the other thing is I don't own a Steam Deck, but I've watched some videos on Steam Decks. Steam Deck, you open it, you're only Steam OS. You're like very much like this is just a Steam device, off you go. So this ASUS Rog Ally, it just runs on Windows 11 to the point you can literally just open the desktop. You could, if you want, hook up a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard. You can open up Microsoft Word and just start writing fucking reviews on this sucker if I wanted to. Now, would I do that? No, but if I wanted to, I could.
Go to Google Docs.
Yeah, I could do whatever I want. This like it's literally acts like
You can do your taxes. Yeah,
I could do my taxes on this. I literally could do my taxes on this if I wanted to. It runs like a mini PC. So there is an overlaying software that boots up when you turn the device on for the ASUS Rog Ally. That sort of, if you download games by Steam, Xbox Game Pass, whatever, EA, Ubisoft, any of those sorts of things, you sync it up with this software. It imports all those games there. You've got like an overlaying way to boot up those games from within that. However, you can't access all the files and settings of Windows, whatever else you want. Now, the reason the battery life becomes such a thing is because you actually can control. You can leave it on auto, but you can control the power wattage. Like you can set it to run at 10 watts, so the battery life will last longer. However, if you don't adjust a game's settings, especially one with graphical settings to lower to match the battery output setting, then suddenly a game will be running at like 20 frames per second because you're trying to run it at high with the 10 wattage battery setting. You can run a game on high and then you should have it at like the higher battery setting, but then all of a sudden you're going to drain your battery a lot faster. So there is like some of these elements which may turn people off because at the end of the day, there is just, unlike something like a Switch or even by all accounts of what I've read about the Steam Deck, the fact that this is like a mini PC in your hand means it comes with all the caveats of a PC, which is fiddling with settings and trying to optimize it and, you know, get the best out of the settings and battery life and all these other sorts of things. When will the battery life last the longest? Playing your indie games, you know, less intensive things you can run at that 10-watt battery life. That if you're going to take it out and about with you, if you're playing like a visual, if you want to take this and make this your visual novel device, something like that, you can run at the silent battery 10-watt setting. This thing will last a lot longer, and you don't have to like have it on the high thing. If you want to take this round and play fucking, I'm trying to think of something, I don't know, The Witcher 3 on it, you're going to get a couple hours, you know? Like that's just the way the cookie crumbles on that. Now you can of course negate that if you do want to be. For most people, I don't think it's going to be a killer because most people's commutes or most people don't want to use this on lunch breaks like myself or something like that. The battery life is still going to be long enough for those times. It is still a negative, I think, because you got to think about the fact that like I do have to charge this every single day. I could not forget to charge this. It would just not like, it would go dead and I'll be like, for fuck's sake. So I've accounted that by making sure I have a battery pack that's made for charging laptops in my bag now because that has the 60 to 65 power wattage output that will be able to charge this thing. So if I do forget to charge it and I want to charge it while out and about, I have a battery pack. I can charge it up. I can get another use out of it. What have I been playing on my ASUS Rog Ally? I've played a fuck ton, as I teased a second ago, of Vampire Survivors. And it sounds really bad to spend like $1,200, nearly $1,200 or whatever I paid.
Playing a $5 game.
Playing a $5 game that looks like absolute shit. But it just goes to show gameplay is sometimes the end of the thing. And especially when I was in bed sick last week. Fuck. Sick in bed with this thing, playing Vampire Survivors. That was a dream. That was like the perfect timing of everything sort of coming together there. Outside of that, what I've been playing is I have played a bunch of Steam Next Fest demos. So I don't even know if I want to spend. I might wait and just do like a huge list next week because there's still some more I want to try and squeeze in. The one
Do you have a favorite
so far. Oh, let me look at my list here. I actually would say so far my favorite would be actually Little Guardsman I played earlier today.
Okay.
And I thought that was really, really good. So that was the one I talked about. I think it was announced at Gorilla or something like that. Anyway, it's like you're like it's Papers, Please, but sort of cuter. You're like you're at a fence. You you have to like
not
talk
as depressing, right?
No, and every character's voice acted and it's very light and it's very funny and they're like I'm here to do the wizarding thing and it's very fun. So I was playing that. Do you have a favorite Steam Next Fest demo so far?
No, I've I've downloaded heaps.
Yeah.
I've not touched
Stop
it.
downloading them.
Yeah.
Just don't download any. Just play Final Fantasy, man.
All right. Other things I played. So
Wait, did you play the Ebenezer game?
The what? Oh, yes, I did. Sorry. I played the Ebenezer Scrooge demo thing on my 100% on my ASUS Rog, not my PC. Very good. I would have a lot of criticisms if this launched in this way because I do think that there's some things where like enemies just spamming attacks too fast at times. I thought was like sort of dumb. I think the save points and the way they spread out was like some of the map design I've got a few criticisms with. But as an overall Metroidvania game, the combat felt good. The first boss fight was fun. The fact that also the demo starts with like an overload of like 10 minutes story. I'm like, it's a demo. Just fucking skip. Just put me straight into the game. I don't give a fuck. Like, I do care, and I did, but like, I'm like, it's a demo. I just sort of want to get my thoughts on the gameplay less so than the story. But yes, I'm still very, very keen for this game. I think this is such a weird thing. And the story for this game is literally like it's a year after the event of Scrooge. Or like Ebenezer's story, and it's a year later, and the ghost like, man, this other guy, we tried to help him, but he was like, I saw my future, and I decided I'm going to change it. And he's like some bad guy, and then the ghosts come to Ebenezer, and they're like, "Oh, can you help us?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess so." Yeah, it's sort of weird.
So Will Ferrell did a bad job on that person.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's basically the how that one runs out.
Actually, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, it does to a degree. What else did I play? All right, so I played Frog Song. I've completed that. It took me about 5.8 hours on my Steam profile. So I played that on my what are we calling this thing again? ROG deck.
ROG deck.
Yeah.
I played that on my ROG deck. So that was one of the games that was announced, or not announced, that they announced during the Wholesome Direct that the game was out that day. You play as a little frog, going around on an adventure. Sort of wholesome vibes. There's like a warring sort of communities. It's fun. It takes a few hours. It's very vibrant art style. I could run it at the lower wattage setting. Frogs are cute. And the frog cute games are a current trend, I believe. But and then the other thing I played, and I've put probably 5-6 hours into, I think, is a game as bad. This is the problem. I would nearly prefer to be playing this than Final Fantasy, but I'm making the choice to keep playing Final Fantasy. I started playing Yakuza Like a Dragon on my ASUS ROG deck. And that game is just so much better than Final Fantasy so far. I got to be completely honest. Yeah, I mean,
it's literally, it's weird that the Yakuza game, the Like a Dragon franchise and the Final Fantasy franchise have kind of like swapped.
Yeah, so this is the Like a Dragon. For people who don't know, this is the Yakuza / Like a Dragon game that literally said, "Hey, we're going to stop making our games combat, like live
Real
combat focused brawlers, and we're going to switch them and make them turn-based combat games." And Final Fantasy's like, no, that shit's old. No one cares about that anymore. So it is fucking wild. This game running on ROG deck, you do need to use the higher battery setting. It plays very well on high on the ROG deck. However, you do need to have that high battery setting, and that means you only get a few hours out of it. However, the fact that I can play something like this in bed, it's pretty fun, cool. I gotta be honest, it's pretty fun, cool. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this game so far. And hopefully I'll be able to get back to it and whatever else. I'm playing it on through just it's on Xbox Game Pass, so I just downloaded it through that. Obviously, I can just boot my Xbox app through the ROG deck and play it that way. I think it syncs my save, so if I do want to play it on a big screen, I think it's got save sync, so I can just probably play it on my Xbox or whatever, even if I wanted to. Yeah, I mean, it's a very cool story. The way it starts out with this, like, sort of, I don't know, how much of this did you actually get through, Ash? Do you remember how?
I feel like I'm probably halfway.
Yeah,
I'll get back to it.
Get back to it, yeah. Because I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the story. I'm really enjoying the story. The fact that, because the story is like, oh, dude, the main character is just sort of a lovable dude from the outset. The fact that, like, he's working for the Yakuza or whatever, but like he's trying to do the right thing from the outset. He's giving money back to people who are ripped off, even though he's being asked to bring it back to his boss and all this sort of stuff. And then he does a job. He goes to jail for fucking however many, 15, 16, 17, 18, whatever years it is. And the fact he gets out and then you find out that he's the dude he like looked up to and loved and everything like fucked him over. Like it's sad. So I'm really enjoying all the characters, and especially like the first time when he gets out of prison, like this cop picks him up straight away. He's like sort of weird from the outset, this cop dude. And he's like, why do you keep following me everywhere? And all this, like, those two have a fun little banter backwards and back and forth between the two of them for a while there. And like walking around, being able to walk around this world, and like the sorts of mini games and stuff you can come across, and antics, and the combat's fun. The fact that like it goes into these turn-based battles, but like it's still just on the street, and like if you happen to be next to like a sign or anything, it'll just like make it a super attack when you click to do a normal attack, and or like so all these very, I guess, Yakuza-esque stuff I've heard about, like the silliness of these games. Tied in with the real stuff. But I'm playing it in Japanese, by the way. I'm just playing it with subtitles.
Oh, interesting.
So I know that this was a game where they did...
And that's good on the screen?
Yeah, I have no problem. No, I have no problem. Like the screen, it's in 1080, so like the text isn't hard to read or anything like that. So, I remember when I booted up the game, it was like, do you want to play in English or Japanese? I was like, I don't know. Like I feel like I should play it in Japanese. Like it feels the right way to play it. I know that's I mean, most of the games are in Japanese, right? I think this is the first one they did full English for or something like that. So, and even there, I Googled it. Yeah, I Googled it and they're like, hey, it is in English, but you'll still hear characters in the background where they didn't bother like replacing like the background characters. They're still talking Japanese. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, just play the whole thing in Japanese. Whatever. So that's very cool. Yeah. So overall, my thoughts on ROG deck. It's very good. I actually think the price point is pretty fair, to be honest. Like the price of a gaming laptop is, for these sorts of specs, is actually higher than this usually. So the fact that you can pay this amount to get something like that's this powerful, that can run all these games, with a downside is the fact that the battery life isn't up to there. But I mean, if you're someone who's like, man, I just want to be able to play shit in bed for half an hour to an hour instead of like sitting on a computer, so I don't really care about the battery life, I love it plugged in. Like, and there's not a downside to you then, I guess. Or if you're like, my commute's an hour, I don't really give a fuck, will it last an hour? Yeah, it'll last an hour. You can play an hour of Yakuza on your bus trip if the battery life doesn't match you. Like, you know, so it totally depends. But at least as far as I'm concerned so far, the battery life is the one major downside to this device. Yeah. But it's very, very cool. And I'm keen to keep playing for it. I need to get a case for it. The official one doesn't come out for another couple of days in Australia, which is really weird. It didn't launch with a case. I looked on JB Hi. It is very weird. I looked on JB Hi-Fi's website earlier today just to see where they were at. It still says the next pre-order shipment's not until like mid-July or something like that. So they're still completely sold out for that first shipment in Australia. So, which I think is a good sign. Like the fact that, like, good on ASUS for getting in there where Valve wasn't giving, like Australian gamers were asking for Steam Deck, and ASUS has come in and sort of picked up that the market of people like me who were like, this portable PC thing sounds like something I'd be fucking interested in. And actually in the long haul, I'm actually sort of glad because having the ROG deck where I can not only use my Xbox Game Pass subscription plus my Steam library
Easily.
plus everything else easily without any fucking around, and that's like part of the device's thing. It's like literally in the settings for the main ASUS software, in settings, connections, install your Steam profile, install your Xbox profile, install your Ubisoft profile. Like it's all like just encouraged. Like that's the way the device works. So very keen. Yeah, very, very keen. So I would suggest, I think I'll probably do a full write-up review. I don't know if that'll be done anytime soon. I want to spend like enough time with it that I don't feel like it's breaks like a month into use, which will be good because then I feel like we've nearly got a review up on the site for all these fucking handhelds because Jacob's reviewed like the Steam Deck and the fucking whatever the other one was called. I can't remember the that other brand. So
yeah,
any
it's
questions?
easy to get around with the UI and stuff, like without like a mouse or whatever.
Yeah, so the ASUS, the overlay software is just completely relying on like just your D-pad or your analog, just up, down, left, right, like L1, R1 to tab across between settings or games. Like it's very much designed as a handheld experience. If you switch to the Windows mode, like full desktop view, the right analog stick suddenly becomes a mouse. And then the R1 equivalent button is like left clicking the mouse. So if you just like go over and something click that, you just like, it's all works very well. Like it's been thought about very, very well, I think. So there you go.
Is it heavy?
No. I mean, it's big-ish. I guess I don't know.
How have you been holding it?
Uncomfortable lying down? Like, yeah. What's the? Oh, that's a chunky.
It doesn't weigh much. It's chunky.
It's chunky boy.
It definitely looks.
It certainly is a deck.
Yeah, if you compare it to like
some wheels on it.
If you compare it to, I was playing it at work today, and this dude walks past, and he like comes to walk into the office, one of the warehouse boys, and all I hear him is like, "Hey, Dylan, do you know anything about that? What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "It's the new Nintendo Switch. I'm testing it out prior to its release." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "No." Yeah, it's definitely bigger than a Nintendo Switch. It doesn't weigh as much as it looks. Like it's surprisingly light. I think your eyes look at it and you go, "That's going to weigh a bit." No. My other thing is, and I turned it off straight away. Fucking analog sticks on this sucker, they light up with this insane ASUS software shit.
I was going to say, how's the RGB?
RGB, if you love RGB, it's there. Guess what? I was like, if I want battery life to be better, turning that off is probably a sign. So,
yeah.
I turned that shit off pretty quick. So,
but how will they know you're a gamer?
Oh, they know. They know. Don't you worry. Yeah, so that's the ASUS ROG Ally. Very good. I'll be playing that. So I have no regrets. And again, like for people like, okay, but what about the Switch now? I don't think it makes the Switch redundant, especially when Nintendo's got first party games.
When it's got all these massive first party games.
The only reason you turn on your Switch really is to play Nintendo first party.
Most of the time, anyway.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
If you've got a choice, especially now, it's 100% now you have a choice if it's on Nintendo or PC, you're probably going to choose the PC version.
Yeah, so I put in a request for an indie game the other day that I probably would have asked for a Switch code, and I just asked for a PC one instead because I'm like, I can just play it on my ROG deck. Like, sort of I'm asking for a PC code, but I'm asking for a ROG deck code. So, yeah. That said, if there are indie games that have multiplayer parts where I know that it's only available on PC and Switch, and I know of people who are only getting that indie game on Nintendo, then I would still get it on the Switch. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's still going to be like some variables, and there's still going to be indie exclusives to the Switch, or at least launch exclusively on the Switch, and maybe come to PC like months later. I'll still just pick those up at Switch at launch. I don't think this affects my Switch playing that much. It affects it a little bit for some of the indie stuff, but overall not that much, I don't think.
Do you think Nintendo's concerned about all these
the
handhelds?
No, because the market yeah, the majority of the Nintendo player base is no one like me. The person like the gamer like me buying all these consoles is I'm a 1%er of the Nintendo player base, I think.
Wow. Good you finally said
Nintendo's player base is built on Nintendo's player base isn't built purely on its hardware, it's IP. Like that's why Nintendo is always just not give a fuck about anything else.
Well, I mean, and there's a lot of people, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, like listener of the show, Jamie Penning, right? He just has a Switch. He's never going to buy a fucking ROG
Yeah.
deck. He doesn't give a fuck about a ROG deck, I believe. And, shout outs if I'm wrong, Joey. But, like,
I'm sure he'd take one.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll take one. But, like, the amount of people like him that just have a Switch as their only game console.
And they're happy, content.
And they're happy. They don't give a fuck about the ROG deck. So I just don't, or the Steam Deck or whatever. I think this barely scratches the surface of affecting Nintendo. Really, I don't think it matters much.
No. Also, two very different pricing ranges.
Huge pricing differences.
Yeah. It's like double the Switch cost, really.
Yeah, like 3 times the fucking Switch deal.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the Steam Deck can come in if the ROG deck, is readily available here?
I'm sure the Steam Deck releases in Australia, people still buy it, especially for people who only use Steam and don't care about all these other things. And the benefit of Steam Deck has been like, it's got less issues because it doesn't have this like backdrop of running on Windows officially, and like that's been causing some that causes issues because Windows causes issues for some people. Like there are definitely pluses to having the Steam Deck, but I definitely think that the fact that the ROG deck got in first, I think that's eaten a huge part of the people like myself who were waiting for the right one.
Yep.
Of these things to release, I could have dropped on one of those other ones, like that one I can't remember the fucking Jacob reviewed. I can't remember the name of. I could have dropped on that, but it never looked that good to me, so I didn't bother. I waited for one that at least looked decent. So yeah. All right, that will do it for this week's episode.
AO Neo.
There you go. And I think there's like 3 of those though.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode. I was trying to do the outro slow because I could see Ash like scouring the fucking website there.
I need to.
Let us know your comments, questions, concerns, or anything we've talked about in this week's episode. What you think of Final Fantasy, what you think of the idea of the Steam Decks and all these sorts of things. Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord takes you to our Discord page. explosionnetwork.com/Twitter takes you to our Twitters, and you can tweet us over there. And if you like this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page, explosionnetwork.com/support, where you can leave us as little as $1 to help support the show. And until next week, same time, same couch. Goodbye.